business, her pitch, the things that needed to change. Very interesting approach to the fractional CMO business, in that while they do the traditional, or will do the traditional boots on the ground, execute the plan for you, their real strength is in doing an analysis of your marketing and the business as a whole, and then creating a plan, like a 20 area plan, that then you could then turn over to someone who's presumably less experienced, but might be even a full-time employee, and have that person as your CMO enact the plan and sort of reduce your risk and know what you're getting and all that kind of stuff. Now, I usually sign up for people's newsletters and stuff just to see. As it happened shortly before we started today, I got Cindy's sort of MailChimp enabled email like blast that was sent out. People still say blast? I don't think they say blast anymore. Campaign.
They still do blast, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So that was sent out, and I happened to see it today, not that long ago. And I looked at that and I say, you know what? It's Wednesday. We normally do a Wednesday website, throw me a curveball kind of thing, but we've never broken down an email. But every business, or virtually every business, does some of its marketing through emails. We've never done that. I'm going to take this opportunity, because it's the very first one I've ever seen from Cindy's group, since I only met her several days ago. And I want to take a look and show what would have been different, or why I would have done differently relative to what she sent. So I'm going to pull hers up on the screen. And then, let me see here. Let me know if you can see it.
Yes, we can.
Go.
Sí se
And
puede.
so let me pull this over so it makes it. So subject is this. That's quite a subject line. I can tell you that normally you want your subject line for your emails to be either really short or really long. Just like crossing the road, being in the middle is the most dangerous place.
I got it.
Right? If it's long, it might even wrap around a little bit, or it'll trail off. But if you can make it interesting enough, people say, wait, what's going on here? If it's very short, because at least half, it varies. It honestly varies like week to week, but at least half of all emails are read on a phone.
Mm-hmm. True.
Right? So if it's too long or too boring looking, people just like, it's even easier to skim on a phone than it is skim your inbox than it is on your laptop. It's just like your thumb just goes and you're done. They're off the screen, forget it, right? So I didn't like this. Now, here, there's one advantage to what they've done here. They've sort of, this thematically ties into what they're talking about here, like what it sounds like specifically, right? That part here. Because then they say, oh, here's what it sounds like. And then they give 6 examples of what a client might say. We're going to get into that in a second. But generally speaking, no. And then they open up with, as your clients begin, this is quite an opening sentence. And it's all one sentence. As your clients begin the second half of the year, it's a critical time to assess and identify areas to adjust according to their budget and resources to efficiently achieve their business goals. I don't think that's much of a hook. Mm-hmm. That is a ponderous effing sentence right there.
That's email Sominex.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It also breaks a whole bunch of audience attention rules, not the least of which is internal repetition. Right? Obviously, if they're going to adjust it, they're going to adjust it according to their budget and resources. Like, what else could they adjust it by other than a budget and resources?
I mean, even time is a resource. So.
Yeah. And so it's too long. It has too much internal repetition. There are too many syllables. It's like everything is just weird about this one. And then they go into this paragraph here is the intro for the bullet list that's about to come up, right? So I think what they're doing is they're sending this to agencies, like marketing agencies, ad agencies, and so on, who have marketing, businesses as clients, to pitch their process. They're sort of almost like a consulting gig. I know it's not technically a consulting gig. If Cindy ever watches this, and she won't, but if she ever watches this, it's like, it's not a consulting thing, but it's sort of a hybrid consulting execution model. What they're doing is they're sort of trying to set it up here, and rather than go directly to potential clients who probably are not on their mailing list, they're sending it to the companies who already have the clients so that they can, it sounds like they can be brought in by those companies, those vendors, to do this part. Right? So they talk about your clients instead of like, someone else. And so here are some of the marketing challenges our clients were facing before working with us to understand and prioritize marketing opportunities through our Foundations First framework. Like, again, very ponderous, heavy, slow moving sentence. And then if someone was skimming down through, these are not good ideas. You want to guess why? Compare these two to, say, this one. What's the
Although
difference between the first two and the
I've
third?
got a motorcycle passing me, so this is hard today.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to read on this, but
Oh, yeah. Maybe I need to blow it up even more. How's
yeah,
that?
I think there
Oh,
you
that's
go.
much better.
That's much better.
It's
Okay.
got to pixelate it a bit, unfortunately, but
That's all right. I can read it better, even though it's pixelated. Perfect. Yeah, because I've enlarged my screen as it is with my
so
little.
as you're skimming down, like frustrated, not only is the person that is receiving the email not the person who'd be frustrated, it's yet again another third party, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
it's like, this doesn't mean anything. This doesn't mean anything. This is better. Marketing feels scattered.
Yeah.
Sales is complaining about leads. There's not a single head of marketing in America who does not have the head of sales complaining about leads.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
It's almost a truism, right? It's like saying, breathing helps you live. Well, yeah, we all know that. Thanks very
Oxygen is fundamental.
much. Right? Yeah.
Well,
And so,
but would you say that these should be sort of bullet points, like with their own little titles or so, as opposed to?
first of all, they're too long,
Okay.
and also they're so overwritten. I am frustrated by how much money I am. By the way, all human beings. Oops, sorry. All human beings speak to themselves in contractions.
Yeah, that's true.
No
That's
one
interesting. That's very interesting. I've never thought of that before.
Yeah.
The voice in your head uses contractions. Huh.
Now, granted, these are supposedly quotes, right? So it's someone who would be saying something out loud, but a person says it. And hardly anyone says I am twice in the same sentence.
And they would be much shorter. These would be much shorter if it's in my head.
Yeah.
Like,
I am feeling stuck when it comes to marketing because
I'm so damn frustrated. I'd be stopping.
Right. No, but yeah, this is like these. No one's going to read these, especially since the first two are so vague that you can't stick on them with your mind.
Right.
And so what they've done here is they've made a long subject line and then opened with a really ponderous, like, audience attention on an email. You have to hook them with the subject line, right? It has to draw them in. And then, right, you've got like a thimbleful of attention, and there's a hole in the thimble, and it's dripping out fast. And you either keep refilling it or you give up. And their clients gave up here. Their readers gave up here, right at this point.
How do you know they gave up there?
Because it's too ponderous. It's too much work. This whole email is too much work for a reader.
I don't know if they have ponderous clients. So
maybe they have ponderous clients. So let's see if we can improve on this a bit.
Okay.
This is Ulysses, by the way. If you have a Mac, right, hundreds of thousands of words a year, Ulysses is probably the app you should be using.
I love his fleece.
Yeah. So there you go. Anyway. Instead of it's time, what it sounds like when it's time to adjust your marketing strategy, and then they talk about how the second half of the year is starting, or just started. My subject line would be Q4 starts in 52 workdays.
Oh boy, that's great. That would capture my attention.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the way to calculate the number of workdays is to go to timeanddate.com and click on the button that says today, click on the date you want, which would be like October 1st, which is the beginning of Q4. And you have an option of all days or just work days, and it'll take out the weekends and it'll take out the holidays.
Wow, that's great.
Took 2 seconds, right? And then as your clients begin the second half of the year, it's a critical time, blah, 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 after High Dean. So mine would be, this is the most important Q4 in a long time. Now, I put this in here, by the way. There's what
is that?
Well, there's a reader. It's a note for me. It's not for the audience.
Oh, okay.
Right. This is a note for me. And here's what it means, right? It's a decision I haven't yet made, although I would normally default to the second option of either leaving this as a single paragraph or tucking it in right underneath the first one. You see how there's a space here?
That's what I would have done,
But
I think.
Yeah.
but if you just put it on a next line without adding in the space, you just tuck it in. It means this one
Mm-hmm.
stands out as
Mm-hmm.
an opening line, and
Yeah.
it gets more importance because it's on its own.
So is
We
that
pay
considered?
attention to things that are standing apart.
Got it. So, but that's not really considered a new paragraph? It's just
No,
nesting
it's
within.
just a little visual trick copywriters
Oh,
use
very
so they
interesting.
can allow this. See, because then every time there's a period, there's
Mm-hmm.
like an eighth of a second pause as someone silently reads it, and every
Yeah.
time they go to a new line, there's a quarter of a second, so it's twice as long. A quarter of a second pause,
Yeah.
and so sometimes you want to insert a pause
Mm-hmm.
in order to like let that resonate a little bit and let them feel its weight.
And at Christmas, it would be a Santa pause.
There you go.
Okay.
Everyone's affected by something: supply
Mm-hmm.
chains, lockdowns in China, the situation in
Mm-hmm.
Europe, or inflation, right?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, like it's time to start thinking now about Q4 is always, for most businesses, it's the most important
Oh, it's definitely our
quarter of the
biggest.
year,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if no matter what job you're in or business you're in, Q4 is probably when like you make your bonus,
Mm-hmm.
you show off your proficiency, whatever, right?
Yep.
So then new paragraph. Now this doesn't happen very often, but my opening is a little longer than theirs, but then the rest of it's
Interesting.
a lot shorter, right?
Got
Because
it.
this whole thing here is basically the concept they're trying to do in just this one paragraph.
Got
But
it.
mine is easy to skim, right? There's still time for your clients to adjust and prepare. 2022 could still be a great year, but not if their marketing spend is out of control or wasted. Spend is the verb, by the way. It's not, shouldn't be
Right.
spending, it's spend. It's a corporate term, right?
Yeah,
So now we've set it up. Okay, how are we going to make sure that 2022, we can rescue this year? How do we make sure that their spending is not out of control or wasted, right?
yeah.
And now she goes in with all these, I am frustrated. I feel like all this,
Right.
and these are all really long sentences. Whereas we just shorten it up with the Foundations First framework, your clients, and then right away, they're spending it's the same thing, by the way. I'm frustrated by how much money I'm spending, marketing
Right.
agencies, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
exactly. Just
This
shorter.
is they're spending in the right places for the right things.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need to say. That's the whole concept of the bullet, right? Understand their agency is doing things the right way. That's a little sort of inside baseball nod to the agency, who's the client, who's the target here
Mm-hmm.
for the email, not the actual end user business, right? Knowledgeably, I kept that for a while. I took it out and then I put it back in. Knowledgeably hold their own. I did, by the way, follow our website Wednesday like rules. I opened this and then I spent no more than 15 minutes writing it.
Oh, cool.
Because that's about how long we would have, 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so, right. And then this whole thing, sales is complaining about the leads. How do we get marketing sales to work together? I just said, put marketing and sales shoulder to shoulder, more visual, right?
So you title them with a capital, marketing and sales, because they're departments.
Yeah, they are departments,
Okay,
right?
got it.
And she does that here, right?
Okay, all right.
Because sales is already capitalized, marketing should have been capitalized. Well, actually,
Got
in this case, marketing and sales should have been capitalized, but she didn't do it.
Okay.
Or he or she, I don't know who wrote it. It probably wasn't Cindy, but we'll see, right? And then sort of like the button, we're here to help you as you help your clients. And then to jump on a call and discuss solutions, very similar to what they put here.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the link.
Well, it's definitely a lot easier to skim because of the brevity of each of those points.
Yeah, I might even separate this, but the more I look at it, the more I like it to just have everything else tucked under it. Because it's not really thought. Like this is really just the second part of this thought, but I don't want to visually separate it too much.
I did send her a LinkedIn message saying that we're looking at her email.
Oh. Yeah. Keep doing that.
If she ever gets it, I don't know.
All right. I mean, this email's already gone out, so it's too late, right? It's not going to make any changes based on what I wrote. But again, the whole thing. So what are we doing here, right? From the beginning, a much shorter hook for a subject line. And then plus anyone who even has to talk to anyone in sales, like everyone knows when the end of quarter or beginning of the next quarter is coming up. And Q4, of course, is the most important, right? Start laying out the problem. Say there's a solution. with a danger.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how you get to the solution and avoid the danger.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a positive future,
Mm-hmm.
right? Helping hand. And then a call to action.
Much easier to read, much better
Right.
form.
And then the only thing really I had left is whether or not to use the word that.
Where's that? Where's that at?
See? So I don't.
Oh, there.
You can remove this word. I will not keep repeating it because it's a pain in the ass. You
Okay.
can remove this word from almost 90% of English sentences, and the sentence works fine without it. So
Yeah.
it's not really a question of whether you should take that out. It's whether you should put that in the first place. There are only two reasons to do it. It is being used specifically to delineate or pull apart and showcase a particular individual thing,
Mm-hmm.
or you're using it for flow. In this case, the only reason I would leave it in there is for flow. So understand their agency is doing the right thing, or it flows better, understand that their agency is doing the right thing. That's the only two reasons to ever use the word that. Otherwise, you should strip it everywhere. All of your writing tightens up immediately if you take out the word that and then decide if you should put it back in.
That's cool.
But the trick is to pull it out
Yeah.
and then decide if you're going to put it back, not decide if you're going to pull it out in the first place. Take it out 100% of the time, and then only about 10% of the time will you see that you should put it back.
And to determine that, we called Dean Way at Way Creative.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at this. This is like a footer that I assume they put in all of their emails. Again, this is the first one I've ever gotten from them. Right? And actually, you know what?
Which was born from the realization.
We've never gone over this tool before, but let's see, did it run? I don't think
Seattle and San Diego. Maybe I can go meet her.
Yeah, why not? There it is. So I don't know. You guys know what Text Sniper is?
No.
Text Sniper is just a little app that does on-demand OCR. So you can take a graphic, which is what this is. It's a picture.
Cool.
And
convert it.
And then I can paste that as text right there.
That's pretty cool.
It saves a lot of time.
Wow, that's amazing, actually. I love that.
So let's tighten this up a bit.
Make it tight.
Yeah, it's a handy little application. Text Sniper. There are a few different ones. There's one for Windows.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things you buy it once and then you never think about it, but you use it all the time.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what they've written here. Foundations First was born from the realization that there was a huge gap in marketing resources for SMEs. Let's break it up a bit so we can pay attention to one.
Yeah, I liked it better when it was broken up previously.
Yeah. See, this is also very common. This is what we would always call level one, right? This is us talking about us.
Right.
Nobody cares about our story. They care about their story. Right. So the trick is to tell them their story with us in it. So this should have been rewritten into some, especially if it's like, this is durable text, right? This is going out in every email campaign.
Right.
So this should have been rewritten to talk about a either negative present or positive future of the SMBs. And how Foundations First fixes that. And then let's see. And then it talks about the two people. By the way, if you're going to have a little blurb talking about two different people, you absolutely should have their picture in there.
Yeah, I would agree.
Headshot, right? Why not?
You want to make it more personable for sure.
Yeah. So let's see. Michelle, let's break it up again.
Start a traditional agency.
Michelle started as a traditional agency. I'm not sure if they meant to say at a traditional agency or, but regardless, it technically works either way depending on what they're trying to say. But soon learned that most SMB clients wanted tactics without having put any thought into. That's a badly worded sentence. It was a waste of money and it didn't serve her clients. Cindy, with her 25 years of corporate and SMB leadership experience, came to realize that strategy is nothing without focused tactical execution. So basically they're saying, I'm chocolate and the other's peanut butter, and together we make Reese's peanut butter cups, right?
Reese's agency.
That they're covering sort of both ends of a spectrum.
We got you covered.
Right. So I happen to know this, by the way, but Cindy does like the strategy and
Mm-hmm.
planning for clients, and Michelle does digital marketing. Right.
So
We're all clear on
she's into
marketing.
implementation,
Yeah,
or
like
okay,
SEO, ad
right,
placement, all that kind of
right,
stuff.
right, okay.
And so they should have tightened this up. I mean, this is, but again, the whole thing is right. This whole thing should be like it should either be the same length and say twice as much, like cover for
So
the client more and more stuff that's like drawing them in, or it should be half the length.
so would you start out with something like, if you're looking for an agency that's not only going to give you tactics but a sound strategy,
Yeah, I mean,
foundation first
basically,
is your
this is
solution,
like it's
something
almost
like
like
that.
they're starting off their little manifesto-y thing, but
Got it.
it's not. Right.
Okay.
Also, the era of talking about your manifesto as a small business it kind of ended in like 2004.
Oh, shoot, I'm
We're,
stuck in the
we're
past.
kind of done with that, right?
Stuck in the past.
I'm like at 18 years. It's 18 years. I'm in a time warp.
And here's the thing: I love the phrase "huge gap" or just gap. You're supposed to be creating a gap, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Huge
yeah,
gap.
I would rewrite that into something that's us telling the client
You need
their
help.
story with us in it.
Yeah.
So you'd almost want to reverse it, right?
Yeah.
Except here's the thing:
Well,
I'm not sure I would say this as a concept.
yeah.
I don't. I mean, is there really a huge gap? And by the way, there's a huge gap, but it doesn't like say you can't have a gap if you don't know what both sides of it are.
Yeah.
And is there a huge gap of marketing resources for SMBs? I don't think
Mm-hmm.
there is. You can go to Google and find a million pages and stuff. I think what they might be trying to explain is that there's a gap in understanding what to do and how to do it. And that's what I would have focused on for this sentence.
Mm.
So and then because it's a gap, right? You could say, I don't know, I would of course the job is to write this in as few words as possible and still convey everything. Is that there's lots of stuff, there's lots of articles and stuff to read, but exactly what to do and how to do it, that's tough. And then automatically, because you've got the A and the B, there's a gap in the reader creates the gap in the mind. You don't know
Mm-hmm.
it's there. So even something like marketing advice, that's what I would call it. Marketing advice is easy to find. Knowing what to do, when, and in what order. It's a different story.
Mm.
Kill that.
But somewhere you would put the name foundation first, I would imagine, in that
Yeah,
little thing.
yeah, it would
Yeah.
come in the beginning of the second sentence,
Okay.
right? First, we talk about them. This is about them. We haven't even
Right.
talked about ourselves yet.
All right.
Okay.
And then we put in foundations first. It's like a shortcut where you can put in a registered symbol. It doesn't matter. Oh, I can grab it from here. This is how like OCD you get, right? It literally does not matter for this video that I put in the registration. But what are you gonna do?
I thought we needed OCR, not OCD.
Yeah.
Or both.
Foundations first. See, here's the other thing, a problem with what they've written here. It doesn't say what they are.
Mm.
Mm.
It technically doesn't even say what they do. It says what background each of them came from.
Yep.
That's a wasted opportunity. If we want to keep their names in there, we can.
Boom.
Right, this needs to be rewritten. Sometimes you know your sentence is going into a cul-de-sac, and the only thing you can do is back out.
It wasn't a cul-de-sac. It was a dead end.
Is there really a difference?
Well, I mean, yeah, usually because it's got a nice little round thing in the cul-de-sac. Most dead ends are just kind of abrupt and
Abrupt. Ending on somebody else's doorstep.
25 years. So she's really good. 19 years contingent.
Oh, dang.
She's 25 years. Yeah, I like that. That's really succinct.
Mm-hmm. It tells exactly what each one is responsible for.
It doesn't give their favorite flavor of ice cream, though, and I really need to know that before I hire them.
Everybody should like pistachio.
Hell no. Well, I mean, I do like it. But John always spoils my illustration of, the reason different people have different spin in their businesses, even though they have the same thing. I says, like, that's why Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors. Not everybody likes pistachio. And that's when John piped up, well, I like pistachio.
It's my favorite.
Jeez.
Well, it is, damn it.
Get a full suite of services to do their marketing, spend, and execute it right for the first time. Because executing it wrong for the first time is not good for business.
No.
So then you eliminated all the stuff that's down below, those other two.
Yeah, we don't need any of this anymore.
That's great. They could even enlarge the text or have enough room for their photos.
Yeah, or they could, now that it's about half the length, they could actually just, write more, say more things.
I see. What would
It's
they
up
say?
to them.
I guess.
It's also much easier to read.
To me, this is so succinct and very easy to read. Why would I want to add more?
Well, it doesn't put the suck into succinct.
No.
It's better.
It improves a lot.
But it also pairs them.
You can tuck it in. I would probably tuck it in.
It pairs them together a little bit more too, because they're so
right.
There's not all that other stuff in between.
Right. And then I don't know if you've noticed, but it's a so we've got the left side and the right side brings us, and the reader creates the gap, right?
Right.
And then they come together to bridge. They're a bridge by joining each other. They're the bridge, and then here's the
end result, the happy ending.
So the whole thing's a narrative without reading like a narrative.
Wow, it's a 3 teeny tiny paragraph story.
It's a 3-act play.
It's a 3-act play.
Yeah.
Is there an epilogue? No, there's not.
There's no epilogue and no encore.
And no encore.
No encore.
All right. Well, we're coming up at the end of our half hour, so that's how it worked out. Like this stuff, everyone gets tons of this stuff. Everybody just ignores it, but there's an opportunity every time to pick up more interested prospects and bring them into your fold and draw them closer. Because ultimately, B2B marketing and especially B2B sales is just a series of you and your potential customer moving one step closer to each other until finally you get there. You don't there's no such thing really as a one-time single meeting B2B sale, not at any scale anyway.
Right.
So you're just coming closer and closer and closer. How do I know it's safe for me to vouch for you in this company where I work? That's basically the question you're always answering.
Always.
Yeah.
Are you the safe choice?
Right. Also, by the way, this is literally true. Q4 starts in 52 workdays. So get busy.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's not made up.
That's true today. Tomorrow it'll be 51 workdays. Stop wasting time.
And depending on when you're watching this video, it might be already there.
It might be too late.
It might be too late.
Yeah. All right. Any questions? Anything about what I've done here? Why I did it? What you would have done?
I like it, and I like the immediacy of it, because did you rewrite it just before we went live?
Yeah, it took about 15
minutes. Then okay, that's the immediacy. I like that freshness. So I don't like stale rewrites.
No.
No.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, when did this arrive today?
It
Arrived at
arrived
like,
at
I think it
5
arrived
a.m.
sometime like early in the morning, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't
Your
get to
time.
it
That means it
until.
was mailed out at like 4 a.m. from the West Coast. By the way,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
Cindy there's an 858 number on there to contact them. So 858 is a new area code for the 619 traditional San Diego area. So she's in town
Yes.
somewhere.
Right. And also, I mean, seriously, go look at foundationsfirstmarketing.com. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
very interesting company to
Okay.
take a look at. I mean, just everyone who's watching this, go
Yeah.
take a look. It's a very interesting company. And apparently you can just, if you're real fast or you do a screenshot, you can actually just go book something with Cindy, whether she meant to send you this email or not.
Exactly. Exactly. And Michelle will be there to help you also.
And Michelle could help just in case Cindy doesn't. You don't know.
Exactly.
Plus, if they're in San Diego, they must be nice people.
Well, no, that's not necessarily the case.
I don't know. Everyone I ever met
But
when I was.
they're usually happier because of the weather. So I
Yeah,
will say
fair
that.
enough. If not nice, at least happier and a bit chiller
Yeah,
than
because
you know.
there's no slush in the winter to slog
Right.
through. So yeah.
All right,
like
so
it,
there you
man.
go. Our first email breakdown and rewrite.
I like it. I like a breakdown. A good breakdown. Break it down.
Ooh, if I had more time, I would have like
Hammer
drawn
time.
more on it ahead of time. So no, yes, no, no.
I need parachute
Smiley
pants.
face.
I know, right?
It's too warm for parachute pants.
Yeah.
Way too warm for that.
All right. Sounds
All right,
good.
and then tomorrow we might talk about some very special topics for
Resources, or
Thursday.
what are we talking about tomorrow? Tools for fools?
No, tomorrow is
Something else? Thirsty Thursday? Am I
it,
drinking
it's
enough?
it's a little embarrassing, but like
Yeah.
technically, I don't know what you guys do. I mean, I straight
Oh,
up don't understand what you
Oh
guys do.
wow.
And so tomorrow you're going to talk about what you do and how you do it and how other people can do it.
and I will say that I will be in Mexico at 9 a.m. Pacific. So whether or not I have Wi-Fi, I probably will have Wi-Fi at the dental office because I'm taking my
Sure.
sister down there. So
Okay.
John's going to be in the hot seat for the most part.
Wow. I hope so. 'cause
There you
that really
go.
puts me on
Yeah.
the
What do you
spot.
do, John? Tell us.
Yeah, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, John.
What are these dark arts?
I'll
The
tell you
dark
what I do.
arts of John Petrucci.
Yeah. All right, that's it for today. Thanks, everyone.
Ciao, ciao.
It's a modified website Wednesday. It became an email Wednesday. If there was a day of the week that started with an E, it would be more alliterative. But as it is, email Wednesday.
It's
See you tomorrow.
It still uses words.